recording. Welcome. We are so glad to have everybody here tonight for our first session of the small business training course for our Start Her grant winners. My name is Tracy Irby. I'm the director at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. We're so happy to have everyone here. This is also for anyone else who is interested in the training. We have Barbara Ranke with us tonight. If you have questions while we're going through this, you can put them in the chat or send them directly to Barbara, and we will answer most of them afterwards. Looks like people are still trying to get in. We are a little short-staffed. But we're fine for this tonight. Half of our crew is at the Texas Conference for Women in Austin. They left after our morning meeting. So anyway, well, welcome everybody. For those of you that aren't familiar with us, the Center for Women Entrepreneurs was funded by the state legislature in 2015 just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. And we help through small business advising, networking and training, grant programs like this. We're part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership at TWU. The Jane Nelson Institute is dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service to ensure that women have the education to establish careers as successful C-suite executives, the skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed to run for public office. Our center is just one of three. There's also the Center for Student Leadership and the Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy. And for any of you who are somewhere in the area, we invite you to come by and visit us. Barbara here has a picture in the back of the beautiful Sue Bancroft Hall. There's an area for women in politics and public policy, a collection in there about women in politics, and it's a beautiful area. So if you're ever out this way, please stop in and visit us. So we have a couple things that are happening tonight. First, we want to welcome and congratulate all of our grant winners. We had 285 applications this year from all across the state of Texas, but we're so happy for the 25 of you and the great projects that you have going on. What we would like to do to start out is have each of our grant winners just say your name and your business, so everybody will know who the other winners are in the room. So if you want to just unmute yourself and go, that would be great, because not everyone is.
Hi, my name is Bree Perks, and I have a wine and spirits wholesale distribution company called Hasty Distributing.
Love that.
My name is Devin Brown. I have a paper goods and stationery company called Brown Brownie.
Great, welcome.
Hi, my name is Sierra Ellison, and I own We Like to Soft Play. It's a mobile luxury soft play business in North Dallas.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Sonia Barreau, and I am the owner of Barreau Grows LLC. It is a cleaning and janitorial services company.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Sine Pierre out of Houston, Texas, and the name of my business is Purpose Pawty, Pawty. It's a gifting company for dog lovers and dogs.
I'm Dominique Lewis. I run Remedy eDesign and Decor, and I am a home goods company here in Fort Worth.
Hi. Oh, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Tanisha Stokes, and I run Gold Ink Consulting. It's career coaching and resume writing.
Hi, my name is Belen Patton. I am the owner of Vida Integrative Wellness. I am a massage therapist and holistic nutrition coach, and I'm looking to expand and open up a wellness center.
Great.
Hi, my name is Sarah Morgan, and I am the founder of a web application for animation producers.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Galanis, and my company is Art to the Power of Gamma, which will soon be opening a different company name. And we are developing a platform that measures how well people connect with each other and in order to communicate. And we're doing this to help medical students and physicians learn how to interact better with their patients.
Great.
Hi, I'm Liz Jordan. My company is a gallery called The Mothership, and we are a disruptive art gallery focusing on motherhood art and feminist artists.
Great.
Hi, my name's Chelsea. My business is Grace and Grit Gardens. I'm a garden coach, so I help design, install, or just grow your garden better.
Hi, I'm Letitia Benning. I own Musicians Gradebook, which is feedback online for musicians.
Great. Exciting.
Hi, my name is Deshauna Franklin. I'm a nurse practitioner. I own the Aesthetics and Wellness Lab in Mansfield, Texas, and I provide wellness services to clients as well as beauty and aesthetic treatments.
Hello there. My name is Kyla Whittington. I am the owner of Petite Luxury Homes. We are a master planned neighborhood of luxury tiny homes for vacation rentals with the hope to introduce potential homeowners to unconventional pathway to homeownership.
Good evening. My name is Sandy Smith, and I'm from Smith Pastures, and we grow pasture-raised poultry outside of San Antonio, Texas.
Hi, I'm Olivia Phillips. I'm developing an early literacy program called Reading Huddle.
Great. Is there anyone else who hasn't introduced themselves yet?
Hi, I'm Michelle Holloway. I'm an occupational therapist and I own Lifestyle Transitions, and I keep people safe age 65 and older through fall prevention.
Great.
Hello, my name is Dr. LaShonda Jackson Dean. I'm the owner of JDI Jackson Dean Investments, with one of our businesses, Original Roots Forever, which is a spice line, as well as a hair care company here in Houston, Texas.
Hey, are there any other grant winners? Okay, well, thank you.
Hello.
There you go.
Here I am. I'm Yamasita Thompson. I am the CEO of Each Beat Counts. It's DBA with Royal Inspirations, LLC. I'm a community health worker, and I teach CPR instruction. The initiative that we're doing now is a babysitting certification, equipping young people and also with health literacy.
Right. Okay, anybody else? Everyone else, if you'd like to put your name and information in the chat, that would be great. Congratulations again to all of our grant winners. And it's so exciting to hear all the different types of businesses in areas in Texas that everyone is from. This is the first in the series of our small business training classes. These are required for you. If you can't be here, we do encourage you to come to each in person, but we understand if you have a conflict, you will then get the video and can send us 3 takeaways afterwards. That's part of your requirements for the second half of the grant funds. You will also need to do a business plan. We have, if you don't have one currently, we have the live plan, business plan template. You can send a message through Submittable that you need access, and we'll be happy to set one of those up for you. You will also have to have 3 hours of small business advising. That can be with anybody that you work with. So it could be SBDC, could be SCORE, it could be one of our advisors, or anyone that you're working with one-on-one. So all of those will be necessary to get the second half of your grant funds. Barbara, who is on this call, has been working very hard on all the paperwork for all of you, getting you set up for your first payment. It usually takes a couple weeks, up to maybe 3 weeks after we get all of your paperwork in, and then she can send it in and get submitted. The second half is much faster than the first one, because at this point they're getting you all set up in the system for payment. Are there any just quick questions on the grant process? So I say you're working with SBDC, just get them to write a letter. You've spent 3 hours, or if it's been more than that, that you've been working with them, just have them send a letter or a note. And you can even, some people just document and then they sign it or stamp it, depends how they work there. Tax obligations, yes, the IRS, no money is free anymore. You will get a 1099 for that at the end of next year for that. Okay, well, I guess you'll get some, since some will happen this year, you'll get some, you'll get a 1099 in the fall, and then or in January, and then you should get something probably, I don't know if you'll get your funding at the end of this year. Otherwise, then you'll have a tax obligation the next year. Okay, well, we've got a really busy program for you tonight. We are so pleased to be offering this to you. So tonight we have with us Haley Phillips. She is from the Denton Public Library. She is the Outreach Librarian for the Denton Public Library. She has been a part of the Denton Public Library for 5 years, working in multiple departments, and was promoted to Outreach in June 2021. In 2017, Haley received her BA in psychology with a minor in communications. She received her MLIS in library science in 2020 from UNT. Haley is a stereotypical librarian who cannot go 5 minutes without talking about books, coffee, or her cats. Outreach is their professional dream and passion, and to her, the heart of the ideology behind libraries and building community. Haley, we're so happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate it.
Great. I've made you a co-host, so you should be able to
wonderful
share your screen as well.
Okay, let's make sure.
This is always a great one to have. So many don't realize all the great resources that are available at the local library.
Make sure I can share my screen correctly. I apologize.
No worries. Looks like it's coming up, and there it is.
Okay. Now, can you all see the note side or just the presentation side? Because we're going to work on that.
We can see next slide, and then welcome library, then myself.
Okay, so you guys see the note slide. Okay, that's fine. So that kind of helps. I'm not sure if I have the double screen, and I'm just going to make it work. So thank everybody for letting me come tonight. Like I said, I'm the Outreach Librarian. What that is essentially I do all of the programming, resources, and services out in the community. So I do everything outside of the library. A few of the things that kind of with my job is I do a lot of work with businesses and nonprofit organizations, specifically in Denton, but libraries love to partner and work with each other. So some of the resources that I'll go over today are strictly to just the Denton Public Library. If you don't live in city, that's perfectly fine. I do have another slide that mostly talks about other libraries, at least in the DFW area, that have similar options. But if you don't live in Denton and you really like these resources, we do have availability for library cards, whether you're a resident or non-resident. And I can certainly go over that later. So like the notes say, I will kind of discuss a little bit more of 3 specific resources that we have that are really more towards building yourself career-wise and developing kind of your business and that sort of thing as well. So with the libraries, you know, we always think that libraries are the book location, and they are, and that's an awesome resource. But we are also a technology community. We're a technology hub. This is where we have, all 3 libraries have a copy, a fax machine. We do have that. Faxing is free. And then we also have Wi-Fi access. So we're open, all 3 libraries in Denton, 7 days a week. At least one library is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday 9 to 6, and Sundays 1 to 5. So we are trying to be as available as possible to everybody who might need a certain service throughout the week. All our libraries, we do have Wi-Fi access, free Wi-Fi access, and we also do have outdoor Wi-Fi access. So even if those hours that we're open aren't accommodating, or you kind of want more of a private area, we do have Wi-Fi outside at all our parking lots, and our Wi-Fi, you just need a simple technology card, very, very simple. You don't even have to live in the city. We have 75 computers, public computers at all 3 libraries, a scanner, black and white and color printing. It's 10 cents a page for black and white, 25 cents for color, the same for copying. And we also offer Wi-Fi mobile Wi-Fi hotspots. So this is a huge thing that we're able to kind of offer to communities, especially ones that are traveling, or they know they're going to be in a specific area that they're not going to have the best Wi-Fi. This is something that we do offer with a library card. Obviously, you can imagine that the line for those is continuous. So if you're needing it in 2 days, I hope the best for you, but those are something that you can at least plan in accordingly, depending if you have a meeting and you need to travel, that sort of thing. This is probably one of our, I think my favorite amenity, just because I'm located at this location. I apologize because the photos are going to look a little bit different because of the notes. So our Forge Makerspace is kind of the technology hub location. This is at the North Branch Library only. It promotes discovery, learning, technology literacy. It was a huge TSLAC special project grant that we received during 2020, and we had a big grand opening in 2021. So in this, we have 3D printers, we have Glowforge, we have a CNC machine, we have a Cricut machine, a t-shirt press, button makers. We also have a keyboard and guitar for music. So we have, I believe, about 12 to 14 different computers in there, but we also have, or like PCs, but we also offer 2 different iMacs. And those are mostly equipped with almost every sort of computer software. It says 12 PCs. So those are most equipped with like any sort of programming software or design that isn't always readily available or accessible or affordable to everybody at home. So the nice thing with the Forge, we also offer classes. So these are something that we range classes from all ages, from all experience levels. Sometimes these classes involve like a make and take that you get to take home, so you get to create your own thing. But it's also just kind of learning the equipment. I will say we do have some patrons who have already started kind of their own small business using the Forge to create their own prototypes for certain things. So some people have their little Etsy business, not little, they have their Etsy business, and they're actually using the Forge to kind of create that jump start. So it's really cool to kind of be at the very beginning stage of that and to have that available. So every one of these equipments to use is completely free. The only thing that costs is if you need to purchase some sort of like the bringing for the Glowforge for the laser and cutter, you need to purchase the wood. You can get a huge sheet of plywood for $10, and that entire thing of that plywood is yours to use however you see fit. So this is free to use. Everything in here is free to use. The only thing that costs is the material, and we would supply a certain amount. Other things that you can buy at home, as long as it's a specific grade, then you're able to use it for free at the same time. So this is a great resource and something that we're really, really proud of, and we're seeing a lot of people utilize just in the past year. So the Forge, it is limited to specific hours just because we only have a limited amount of space and staff. So these are our specific hours. It's Tuesdays from 2 p.m. to 8:30, Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3. Again, this is only at the North Branch Library. It's 3020 North Locust. We do understand that sometimes those hours of operation are not going to be the most accommodating to everybody. So what we try to do is you can make an appointment with us online. And that way we can make sure a staff is in there with you in case you need assistance or have any questions. And that way you can have a certain amount of time to do your project, to do whatever service that you're interested in. So that is available. That is the website. That's our library website, and then the Forge linked website with it. And it gives an overview of all the different types of equipment, any tutorials, most questions, anything like when it comes to materials that we offer and the cost, what programs we're going to have for specific things during our quarters, and where you can make an appointment to use the Forge outside of our regular hours. So that's an awesome resource. I definitely encourage everyone to check that out. One of the things that we offer, we have, of course, a lot of online resources. I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm going to point out two, but a lot of these are going to be something that you're going to have full access to with our library card. So you have 24 access to all of these sorts of resources. The LinkedIn Learning and the Gale Business Demographics Now are the two things that we're going to talk about, but the Small Business Reference Center and the Learning Express Library are some things I think you guys would really, really like to check out. We also offer Brain Fuse, which is really aimed at for grades 3 to college for like homework help and tutors, but it also offers job hunting, resume writing, and interview preparation. So that is something that's an extra resource, and that's going to be Brain Fuse. And then for a lot of some small businesses, when you're needing to make those sort of connections with people who may not speak your native language, we do offer Mango Language, which is offers 70 world languages. And this is extremely extensive in a sense that it goes over grammar, pronunciation, like conversation. It gets really, really in depth. And so that's an awesome resource with our library card as well. But the two ones that I'm going to talk over are going to be the Gale Business Demographics. So with Gale Business Demographics, this is recently was known probably as Reference USA, or if that sounds familiar, it's kind of the same thing. But it does more data, has more extensive availability. So it connects users with a wealth of highly detailed demographic data on more than 24 million US businesses and 206 million consumers. So this is a useful tool for finding, comparing, and visualizing your demographic information. This is a new resource. We did get this, I believe, in the past year. One of our previous librarians who was promoting the Reference USA was Carrie Montz. And so right when she had done this presentation, we were moving over to Gale Business Demographics for the next following couple months. So this is still really, really new, and a lot of staff are really, really excited about this. I'm not as familiar, but we do have plenty of tutorials and staff who are really, really available. But the few times that I've messed around with it, it's very, very easy to use. It's very user-friendly, and it's almost overwhelming the amount of information it provides. So with it, you can create a business plan. You can use dozens of available demographic data points from various databases to pinpoint your target consumer. It also gives a compare across multiple locations, so you can kind of see where the best fit is. And it also gives you a map that can actually help you visualize more ways to start your business or where to expand. So furthermore, it kind of ducks to this. It's like, where do you choose your location, your business location? You can research your competitors. You can analyze your market size. You can build direct marketing list profiles. You can get current and potential customers. You can also look at forecast trends and uncover consumer buying patterns. So up in the top three, the main things we're going to focus on are demographics, the maps, and the reports. And again, this website is on our online website, but it also, we do have tutorials on our online website, but the Gale Demographics Now does have its own link two tutorials to go over the same thing. So the big part with demographics is you're kind of being able to either use the geo filter up at the very top, or you can kind of click on demographics and go from counties to state to counties to cities. You can really narrow down your search. This is where you kind of choose your location, where you're really wanting an idea of the demographics for that area of your business, right? Because a lot of the times we want to serve everybody, but we might have very specific demographics that we're really trying to reach for really specific things. So once you pick your demographic, you can then get a different type of report. So there are 3 different types of report. There's a comparison, which shows you columns of data you can compare. There's the rank type, which orders the results from highest to lowest, and the summary gives the average results of multiple desired locations. So you can kind of decide on based off different demographics. So the age by sex, there's also the consumer, the business comparison. So there's a list of different location or different reports and that you can kind of run, and then you can also download these. So any of the downloaded reports, you can get PDF, a docs, and HTML. So it's that way you don't always have to run the same report, and you can also compare over time as well. So that way you have that readily available to you at all times. The next one is going to be the maps. So this is the tool that gives you a concentration of people in an area that meets your search criteria. So again, you're going to go through the same steps as similar to demographics as you type in your location. You can either type in your location or do the geographic list. And that way you can kind of hone a little bit more on a specific location. So once you choose your location, you kind of narrowed it down. As shown up here, they've done Utah, Provo, Rome, the U2 Metro, St. George. So they've kind of really honed in on a very specific area. And the map will show, kind of place a border around it. Then it will kind of give you a different sort of thematic controls that you can choose to kind of pick your variables. So there are many variables that range from age to race to retail opportunity. You can click which options you want, whatever fits your specific business. And then you can actually change the level of detail. So you can click the geography. So then you're going to do the map will come to life on the lighter colors of a low density areas and darker colors for higher density areas. So you can kind of see visually where more of what you're looking for. And I'll show that on the next slide. If you'd like to reference the map later, you can also export this and download, print, or email as well. So all of that is readily available here. So these are just some of the variables that might be of interest to you when you're looking at where your demographic or where your target audience kind of resides in. So like I said, these are going to be more of your variables based off your geography. And then here is your thematic and your low density to high density map. So again, those darker colors are going to be higher density areas, low density areas. And this will kind of like really give you more of a visual idea. And so you can kind of see just where you'd want to put your business or where you kind of might find more competitors, that sort of thing. And this is also available as download, print, and email. And the third option that we have the demographics, the map tool, and we also have reports. So there's different types of reports that the Gale Business Demographic offers whenever you're looking for your target audience. So you can also type in your location that you're looking for, and then you can check on which type of report. So there's 3 listed here. You've got your census report, your batch report, and sizing of your market. And what it's next going to do is it's going to then keep filtering. So you've clicked a batch report. You can then do a business comparison, a basic demographic comparison chart, age by sex comparison chart. So some of these filters are going to change based off what sort of report type you looked for. So there's the comparison, then the rank, then the summary, and that's where it gets a little filtered here. Once you've been able to kind of pick what kind of report you're interested in, this is now going to give you the total of their target audience. So kind of more of where they're located, based off their education, what sort of retail trends that they typically buy from. So really kind of gives you even more list and things that you may not have readily, like information on where it compares and how it meets. And that way you can kind of build your business model with the specific data in ways that you probably not have readily accessibly available information to without a library card. Okay. So our last third resource is going to be LinkedIn Learning. And I'm sorry if I'm going a little quick. Some of this stuff it's a lot easier to do with a tutorial. So if anybody has questions at the end, I'm happy to answer. So LinkedIn Learning is also known as formerly known as lynda.com. This is an online educational platform with over 16,000 online video courses by real-world professionals. So there's options of technology, business, software, education, audio and music design, production, photography, graphic design, and lots more. This is something that when you're kind of thinking about your business model and how to train your employees, this is an awesome free resource, something that you can kind of use in the future when you're wanting your staff to be able to understand how to do some sort of business training or some sort of photography or any sort of extra tidbit that might really kind of further their career and your business model inside. So this offers over more than 5,000 courses. You can discover, complete, and track the courses related to your field and interest. So the nice thing is with this, you can also keep track of who's completed it because they do give you certifications at the end of each one. So that way, if you are doing some sort of course for your employees and for staff for training, you can actually see who completes them and who doesn't. So some options are like customer service. There's all the Microsoft Office on there. And another example would be like social media for business. So that's a huge way to kind of market to your target audience to really get the word out. So that is a free resource on just how to train not only your employees, but also yourself. So you can also get that completion. You can also add link their trainings to their own LinkedIn profile. So that's something to keep in consideration as well, that they can also help build their own profile separately as well. So this is just a few of the different options, and I can't really zoom in, but they do up on the left-hand corner, it does business, creative, technology, and then certifications. And then it splits it into a whole bunch of different categories here. So you can really kind of see more of what they're offering. You might not even know the things that you might really be interested in learning yourself for your business or for potential employees. So this kind of gives you a whole opportunity for training for free that you may not really have opportunities for or time. Okay. So I know when I was listening to some of the grants, I saw that a lot of people aren't as just local to Denton, which is great. TW is an awesome school, so everybody should go to it. But I wanted to just kind of point out a few of the other libraries just in the surrounding area that have very similar resources with their library card. Or that you may be like, I actually live in Denton, but that resource sounds super awesome. I'd like to check that out. Because all of us libraries want to promote and support our communities and the businesses and the people inside that. So Dallas Public Library does also offer LinkedIn Learning. A lot of these offer reference solutions, which is very, very similar to what Gale Demographics is. It's just a little bit different. It gives a little bit different of a data. So Dallas Public Library still has reference solutions and Gale Business Demographics. But they also have this partnership with the Dallas Economic Development, which is called The Brain. It's a business startup resource for networking, entrepreneurship, and community engagement, and DEI services. So it's really small business oriented. And that website for it is the dallasbrain.org. So I definitely would check that out if you are local to Dallas area or very interested in learning more. I would check out that website. But the Fort Worth Public Library offers LinkedIn Learning, and similar to our Brain Fuse, but a little bit more career oriented, is their Brain Fuse Job Now. Louisville Public Library, LinkedIn Learning and Reference Solutions. The Plano Library, I know that Tracy had mentioned it earlier, that some of the libraries in the DFW area offer their SCORE mentorship, which if you're unfamiliar is volunteered business owners who are wanting to help you from like the start on how to get your business operating. And I'm sure Tracy can give more information about that. But SCORE, we did have one location at Denton in the past. We aren't anymore, so if their website hasn't been updated, I apologize. That's based off volunteership, so they may not always, they're to do the whole DFW area, so they may not have a volunteer who is local to Denton or local to a certain area, so they may not have someone to drive out, but they have a lot of volunteers on there who are spend a quality amount of time really helping everyone one-on-one, that they might be willing to kind of work with you and where you're located. So again, Plano Public Library offers SCORE mentorship, LinkedIn Learning, and reference solutions. The North Richland Hills offers reference solutions and the Learning Express Library, which is also what we have at the Denton Public Library, which is like career certification exams, academic skills, and adult learning. It's very similar to Brainfuse, just a different name. The Flower Mound Public Library offers SCORE mentorship, reference solutions. They also offer a sustainability reference center, which is something that a public library or one of our previous librarians recommended at this training to something years ago, which is an awesome resource that it's kind of where how you can get information on how to be environmentally safe and sustainable related to your best business practices. So that way, when you're building your business, you can kind of see how to best do it environmentally friendly, right? Which isn't always available everywhere. So I thought that was a really awesome resource. They also offer the NCCC Small Business Development Center. I thought I saw someone in the chat say they might work there. They also offer the U.S. Small Business Administration, and they have the US.gov Small Business section. So a lot of that is on their local website as well, and they have a very detailed paragraph of each of these little resources they have. The Decatur and Little Elm and Carrollton, they offer reference solution, the Learning Express Library, reference solutions, and SCORE mentorship. I also looked up Frisco Public Library. They offer the LinkedIn Learning Reference Solutions and Learning Express Library. And then Roanoke was a little limited. They just offered their Brainfuse job now, but I believe that they'll probably do some more in the future. And then the Irving Public Library offers the LinkedIn Learning Reference Solutions and Express Library. So these are a lot of resources that are available to everybody, but probably going to be more if you have that library card. A lot of the Denton County areas are very, very weird when it comes to library cards. So with the Denton Public Library, we're mostly based off property taxes. So to have a library card with us, you will need some proof of residence. If you live in the dorm or live anywhere in Denton City, you have full access to a library card. If you don't, which is perfectly fine, we do offer a non-resident card, which is $25 for every 6 months or $50 for a full year. But with that includes everything that the full service card does. And that sort of payment is the equivalent to what residents who pay taxes, city taxes, to get that library card. So that's where that pay is. But all the other surrounding areas, I know Louisville, I believe one of the other libraries, they offer where it's just county. So anybody in that county can get a library card. Dallas has a huge library selection of resources. So I definitely encourage everyone to kind of see what your local library is. If you're not in Denton, what your local library offers, because you know all of us libraries work together, but we're always trying to focus on our communities. That's our goal. And so part of that is by working with businesses to make sure they're successful, because if you're not, then the library isn't able to do the best that we can to help you succeed. So the below information is just my email and my phone number, my direct line. So if you have any questions, I'm sure we'll have a moment for some information chat. But if you have any follow-up questions about a specific resource or one of the tutorials or anything like that, please feel free to reach out. I do work with our Denton Business Alliance group to kind of see how Denton business can kind of work together and utilize our individual resources to build a better community. Because sometimes businesses, it actually works better, even if we're aiming for different communities, it works better for working together, because a lot of times those communities will overlap. And so I am a part of that because the library is really trying to focus on being a community hub for businesses. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But that is the end of my presentation. So thank you, Tracy.
You bet. Thank you, Haley. That was so much great information. And I may have missed this, but did you share that they can log in from home if they have a library card for some of these resources?
They can. They can actually. So all of those were available at home. If you live outside of city and you wanted to pay for a library card, you would have access to that at home. All of those were at home resources, not just at the library. I did forget to mention that. Thank you.
Well, I think it's great because sometimes you want to do it off hours, or I was doing research before. So I figured someone would find that helpful, that they can just log in from home with their card.
Yes, and I saw someone in the chat, they mentioned, yes, so everything is available with the library card except the Forge. That's the one where you kind of have to come in. So we do make that availability for an appointment. So that way, if you can't go to those specific hours, you're still able to come in and what's most accommodating to you. We have a lot of staff who are specifically trained on a lot of the equipment in there. So when you make an appointment, we make sure that someone in there is able to like really help you, at least get you started, and then kind of work with you one-on-one with whatever you need.
Great. If there are any other questions, if you want to even just unmute and ask, that would be okay.
Hey, Haley, I have a question in regards to the Gale business. So I know that the data provides like demographics based on location, but does it have the ability to kind of do it in reverse where you have like maybe the age or the sex of your desired demographics and it can kind of narrow in on locations that they most reside in?
Yes, so the first tab is going to be the demographics. So that way you can just look at where those demographics are, and it will give you kind of a list of locations or kind of that general where you're kind of you're focusing on a specific community, and then it can give you that map. And then the map tool would do kind of the back end. So it would do where you're looking at a specific location and what are the demographics of that specific location. Does that make sense?
It does, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Okay, are there any more questions?
I have one question. The card, if it's $25 every 6 months, is it a year from the time that you pay $50, or do you have to do it 6 months at a time?
You can renew that at your own leisure. So it's $25 for 6 months or $50 for the full years, you get to choose, and you can pay that however whatever whatever works with your timeline. We don't make it like a subscription where you have to kind of do it in advance kind of thing, because a lot of people, sometimes we have like specific students who aren't local to Denton and only need it for a quarter to get through their classes. So that's why we do also that availability. And with the library card, I also want to kind of point this, you know, we're talking about businesses, but we do have access to, 75 items at a time. So if you are local, but you don't live in Denton, so it's kind of like a family card. So there is more than just these 3 resources. You still get the benefit of having full access to a library card for your own personhood on top of anything else. So, because, I do think that it's important to have that business, but we also have to take care of ourselves. So that's part of building that business. So those are resources.
Great, thank you. I do see a question in here. Do you have to apply for a library card in person?
We do. We do offer ways to get an e-card where we can mail it to you, but then we would have it for a specific amount of time. So sometimes when it comes to out of state, if you are not very close at all, please feel free to email me, and then I can work with you one-on-one on seeing what we can do with our circulation department to get you a library card, because we do have a lot of residents who don't live in the DFW area at all who still use our library services. With a full service card, if you do live in Denton, that's renewed for every 3 years. So that way you don't have to worry about renewing your account or anything like that. And for the other non-residents, you can renew that again at your own leisure. So you don't feel like you have to come in immediately. And then we also offer it where If you are non-resident and you don't have the time to come up and all your information is the same, you can pay over the phone. So that way we do have that available because we understand traveling. So that is an option.
Great, helpful. We have another question. Is there meeting space like conference or classroom space for card holders to reserve or rent for business meetings?
So we do have a meeting room space at all 3 libraries, and you don't have to have a library card with us to reserve. It is a completely free service. I will say something that I'm personally interested in, again, is kind of promoting the library as a community resource, community hub. I would love to have that free reservation space where businesses, for if you're wanting staff training, if you are wanting to coordinate and network with other businesses in your certain area and you don't have the availability space, you can come to the library. Please, again, save my information. We do have meeting room coordinators, but I'm happy to be that kind of in-between service. You just fill out a form just to use the room as long as it's available, and you can, I think, book it up to 6 months in advance. I believe it might be longer, but that way you can actually plan accordingly and plan ahead. So I know that a lot of free space isn't always available anymore, and so the library is certainly a great place to use that for. And then we also, just as another tip, we also have study rooms available at the libraries. Those are first come, first served. You get them for 2 hours. But that way we have a lot of people who use those for online interviews and some sort of like trainings as well. So that is available.
Right,
I have a question. You said something about a SCORE mentoring program that somebody else is going to talk about more of.
So I had mentioned, so the SCORE mentorship is, again, in the DFW area. They have a specific website. We were a location in 2019 and prior. And then as during the pandemic, they did kind of reevaluate and change to mostly online with a few volunteers who are able to meet at specific locations in the DFW area. But because that is volunteer based, they don't have anyone that is local in Denton, part of that organization. So we're not actually a part of the resource, though we still have a connection to get you to the correct people. But you can definitely, you can just go to, I'm trying to remember what the website is, but it is SCORE Mentorship in the DFW area. They have specific in-network contacts for locations. If it says Denton Public Library, Carrie Montz, that was a previous librarian, she's not with us anymore. But we unfortunately don't have a natural volunteer in Denton. So if you have questions about the SCORE mentorship, you can also email me and I can follow up with more information and kind of get you in the right direction and hopefully with a volunteer in your local area.
I've added the link in the chat. They are retired executives. They're all over the state. You can go to score.org and find one. They're funded in part by the Small Business Administration, as well as small business development centers. The small business development centers are in every county in the United States. So you can go to asbdc.org to find one in your area. I will get that and put that in the chat as well, but there's a lot of free resources for you.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome. Okay, any more questions for Haley?
I don't know if we did this one in the chat. Can we get the card and do everything remote except the makerspace? Did you answer that?
Yes.
One? Okay.
Yes. And all of everything for the makerspace is also online. So you don't have to go into the major makerspace blind. You have an idea of what kind of equipment, what it looks like. We have tutorials for almost all of the equipment as well. So that way you have a lot of prep time so you can make sure that it's actually fits your needs on what you're trying to do. And then we'll have staff always in during those natural operations. We have staff in there to help. But again, you can always make that appointment or attend any of our programs. Another tidbit is that none of our libraries don't require you to have a library card to attend our programs. So if there's a Forge program that you want to go to, but you don't live in city, you don't have to have a library card with us. Some of these programs do require you to do registration, which is just through an email on our website. just because we might have limited space or limited equipment or material. But you don't have to have a library card with us to attend our programs. So any sort of those training, in-person things or virtual things that we offer, you don't have to have a library card. It's just the databases and checking out library cards or checking out library materials.
Great, such great resources. Okay, well, it looks like there aren't any more questions. Thank you so much, Haley. That was such great information. There's so much more, I think, at libraries than people realize was available to them.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or give me a phone call or just call our general Denton Public, Google Denton Public Library, and any of our librarians will be willing to answer any questions about any of the resources or get you to the correct person who might know more. So I appreciate you guys' time and congratulations on all the grant winners.
Yay. Thank you again. All right. Okay, so I am going to be sharing next. For some of you that attended our Women Rise today, you may have heard some of what's in here, but I'm going to cover several different areas tonight, just kind of briefly, but to help everybody. So this is going to be business plans, credit, and financing. All right, can everyone see my screen okay? Great.
Yes.
Yay, you never know for sure. So first we're going to talk about why is a business plan important? For a lot of people are getting away from business plans, but then going back and realizing the value of this. For all of our grant winners, you are going to have to submit a business plan. If you have one already, you'll want to update it and maybe include in there what you're using the grant funds for and what a difference that will make. But why is a business plan important? Again, it's something you can use for decision making. It's an evaluation tool for making strategic choices. It's necessary when you want to communicate to other people about your business. If you're going to get loans, investments, supplies, employees, anything like that, it's great to already have your business plan put together. For analysis, finding critical areas before you start investing cash and time. Many times we've seen people that they have a great idea, it's that $1 million idea, and then they get out there and start analyzing and realizing that, well, that's not really going to work. So it is a great tool to learn about your business, find numbers, and see if it's really going to work the way you think it's going to work. It's also a guide to action, how to do things, and then how to take big tasks and turn them into smaller ones for you. And a lot of people wonder when you should do it. Now, I've heard a lot of people that don't want to apply for grants or do anything until they have a business plan. Well, not all of those require a business plan for you just to apply. But it is good to do before you get your business started. When we're growing a business or starting a business, we have so many things that we're thinking about, and you have the idea in your head. And really, as you start to do the business plan, you know you've already thought of that. So much of what you have, but now you're physically putting it on paper. So it's good for you to look at that. So you also want to do it before you need money. Stuff, you got to buy stuff, people, staffing, all of that. You want to do the business plan and do the numbers because it's going to let you know, when am I going to break even? When am I going to be able to buy a new piece of equipment? When am I going to have enough money to hire somebody? Those are all important reasons. And it's great as a regular part of running your business. Who in the world ever expected we would have a pandemic affect business the way it has these last several years? So just know that business plan is not a one-time thing, that it should change with you. And it's funny, as your business grows and you go back and look and you'll see things in there that didn't work right the first time or didn't work the way you did and the way you changed the business. So you always want to be looking at it and updating it and changing it. That's why you want to remember it's an ongoing thing, not something you're only going to do once in the beginning, put it away and never look at it again. How to write a business plan. Oh gosh, there's so many different things out there and ways to write these today. There's not one thing that is specific. And talking with some people earlier today, it was like, thank goodness the days of the 140-page business plans are gone. They don't need to be that long anymore. You don't need to be intimidated by it. You probably know much of the things that go in this already. You don't need to be spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a business plan. You can do this yourself. Nobody knows the business better than you do. So you want to focus on assessing key areas of your business and what your strategy is for success. There are many different segments of a business plan. So the first thing you always see in there is the executive summary, but that is the last thing that you want to do. And the reason that comes first is gives everyone a summary. Some people may want to look at different things in your business plan. Maybe you're looking for a partner. They may look at one location in your business plan. If you're going to a bank, they're going to look at your financial. So this executive summary kind of tells them what they want, and then they need to know where to go to look for more information in your plan. But again, you will do that last, and it can be shorter than what's in all the other sections. You're going to want a company description, a market analysis, primary and secondary. You know what's great about this? We just learned about all those resources at the library that you can use for market analysis. Organization and management. What is the legal structure of the business? Is it a sole proprietor, a LLC, a corporation, a C Corp, S Corp, any of those? Who are the top people in there? You're going to put marketing and sales in here. How are you going to make money? How are you selling the product that you have? Do you have a funding request? What is it for? What is your investment in it? With a funding request, you're going to need to be able to back that up with some kind of numbers. We see many times that people think, I'm going to need $500,000 for my business. They just come up with this without anything really behind it, backing up why they need it, how they're going to be able to pay that back. So doing the business plan can really help you figure out what you need. Next, you're going to do financial projections. And these are assumptions, but they are based on real numbers. So what exactly does that mean? Assumptions are based on something. So you can find out, you're going to put something in there. Let's say you're selling cupcakes and you're going to sell those at $5 a piece. Those are the numbers that you're going to put in there, because if you've done research, you may have seen that most of the local bakeries around here are selling cupcakes between $3 and $7. I'm going to sell mine for $5. And when you go to a bank, they know that these are based on something. So that's what an assumption is. So you can do it even when you don't know what your sales are going to be. So you're going to want to supplement your funding request with financial projections. Your goal is to convince the reader that your business is stable and will be a financial success. So when you do this, you can do your projections at a low end, some at a middle level, and some at a high end. I can't tell you how many people that we see as they're putting together financial projections believe they're going to make $1 million in year one. I've helped over 1,000 small business clients, and I have never seen one make $1 million in year one. So this is where you want to be real about your numbers as you're putting everything in here. These will also provide a prospective financial outlook for the next 3 years. So in here, you're going to want, these will help you do income statements and balance sheets and cash flow statements. A lot of these seem like foreign language, but we have a great template that can help, as you put your numbers in, create all these different spreadsheets for you. So you want to make sure you clearly explain your projections so that anyone can see them. And then you'll have an appendix in there, and that can include anything that doesn't fit anywhere else in the plan. Maybe you have a lease agreement. Maybe you have a purchase order for someone, so you want them to see that that you have sales that will be coming once your business starts. So anything that doesn't fit anywhere else, you can include in the appendix. We use, and this is free to anybody, we use the LivePlan online business plan template. LivePlan is a default outline designed to complete a business plan for any type of company. And they're asked frequently for industry-specific templates, but because every business is unique, they recommend customizing it. So it's real nice in here. There's sections, and if they don't apply to your business, you don't have to include it. It's very easy to customize the LivePlan template. You can add, remove, or reorder any material in the default outline, and even add your own custom content. So there's also a lean business plan. That is not what we're looking for our grant winners. We want you to do the full business plan with 3 years of projections. There are places for the lean. You hear lean business model canvas, lean business plan. There are many different names for it. This is good. And really, this is a good way to start doing your business plan as well. But the lean one, or the smaller one that is included with LivePlan, is great, and you can download it as a pitch. Many people now are doing pitch competitions to raise funds for their business as well. So it's nice to be able to do that and be able to download a pitch deck. So a lean business plan is not near as detailed. So here you would see there are only certain areas that they're putting in, and this is the second part of that. They're selling bikes, their marketing activities, where they're getting revenue, expenses, but as you can see, it's not near as detailed as what you would see in a full business plan. So again, if anybody is interested, just send us an email, and we will be happy to set you up with a free LivePlan. If you Googled business plans, B Plans comes up, and that is the owner of LivePlan. If you did it on your own, it probably costs, I don't know, $10 to $30, but we have bought seats, so we have room for you if anybody is interested. Startup cost is really important to put in here. A lot of times people don't realize how much it costs just to start your business up. And even if you've already done this, include those numbers in the startup costs you have. Getting your DBA, LLC, any of those things. You may be buying materials. You may have contacted a lawyer. Make sure you consider all of those as your startup cost. The key to a successful business is preparation. So that's what a business plan helps. So before your business opens its doors, you'll have bills to pay. So understanding your expenses will help launch successfully. Startup costs normally include startup expenses and startup assets. So startup expenses are things that happen before you launch and start bringing in any revenue. For example, some have, as I said, legal work. You may have a logo design. You may be looking for a trademark or a patent, a location site improvement. So there are many things that happen before you even have a business. And then you have to look at things such as rent and payroll that start before launch, and then they're going to continue on. And there are also startup startup assets. So these are things you're putting into the business. So it could be money that you put in the bank. You always want a separate bank account for your business. Never, never, never commingle that money in your personal account. If you ever got audited, oh, it'd be very difficult. In many cases, starting inventory. If you're selling something, you're going to need the product ahead of time unless you're drop shipping. So just know there are going to be assets that you are incurring. Other starting assets could either be current or long-term assets, such as equipment, office furniture, a vehicle, and those sorts of things. This is a cash flow projection. And many of you may not have seen this before, but it's really a good thing to see as you're starting. So in this, you can see that there's a list of things for startup before your business starts: inventory, business licenses. Is there a telephone, marketing and advertising, your website, all of those things that you would put in here. And it would help you determine how much all of this is going to be. And many times it costs more than you think it's going to cost. And then here, as the months go on, you can be putting in inventory. Some you may not be buying it every month. You may buy in big lots, or if people are buying, from China or something, you may be getting a lot at once or only order certain times of the year. Right now, we're in the holiday season, so probably month 8, 9, and 10, people have probably really been increasing the inventory for the holiday season. So for every business, this is going to look different, but you want to be familiar with your cash flow projections. What's nice is when you use Life Plan, it helps you do this by putting in different things in there. So now you have your business plan. What are we going to do? What if we're looking for a loan or something like that? You have got to know about your credit. When a small business requests a loan, one of the first things the lender is going to look at is your personal and business credit history. And if you just started, you probably don't have much business credit. And I've had people ask me over the years, why do they look at my personal credit? Well, your spending habits are something they look at. And if you never pay any bills, then they aren't going to want to give you a loan. The other thing is many small businesses fail in the first or second year. So they're really very careful about who they are lending to. So before you even start the process of preparing a loan request, you want to make sure you know what your credit looks like. A better credit report will raise your credit score. The higher the score, the lower your interest rate. So some things out there are really free websites. Annualcreditreport.com is where you should go to get your 3 credit reports each year from the 3 different credit reporting agencies. You want to take it, look at it, go through it. You can also get free reports. Many credit cards have free FICO scores. So that's a place to go and look. There's sites like Credit Karma. There's so many other ones out there that you can look at and find your credit report. So make sure you follow that and know where you stand. You want to verify these reports. And if anything is incorrect, you want to get it fixed. So verify all the information on your report. An independent study showed over 70% of reports contain errors. You need to fix or dispute what you can. And some of the common errors include false delinquencies, public records, judgment accounts that belong to someone else. Sometimes people have had other people with the same name. Some of their credit got on theirs that didn't even belong to them. So make sure you go in and look at this. If you have a low credit score, fix what you can. Dispute, dispute, dispute. If you can correct anything, correct it. If you can settle the debt, you can do that as well. What if you say, it's $1,000 bill, I've got 200, would you accept this as full payment? If they say yes, of course you want that in writing, but no, you would have a tax liability for the amount of money that they write off, but the bad credit would no longer be showing if you ask them to remove that and have that in writing. So there are other things that they look at too: bankruptcies, foreclosures, short sales. If there's anything like that, any problems, you can write a letter of explanation. And sometimes things that require that, if they're late payments, tax liens, talk about that, let them know. If there are any derogatory marks or repossession, did somebody else have that car? Charge offs, if there are medical bills, explain that all of this was due to medical bills, student loans, or child support. And I tell you, divorce is really devastating to a lot of people. And so sometimes if you have that letter of explanation in for your banker or something that explains what happens, that can help. There are low to no credit options to helping you get some money to start the business or what you need to keep you afloat. So first is friends and family. Some of these, and I saw on the one this morning had it on there too. Sometimes they say friend, family, or fools will loan you money. You can always do a business cash advance. You can look at invoice financing. If you're getting invoices, this is also called factoring. You can get financing on those. Microloan, is there a small loan that you could get somewhere? There are some companies that will loan you as low as $500. And sometimes that's all you need to start something out or get an initial inventory. So really think about this when you're going to be purchase items. Other things are angel funding or venture capital, but you have to have a really strong business for them to be interested in your business. Excuse me. Grants. So we have a lot of happy grant winners on here tonight, but you can't always guarantee that you're going to get a grant. I've been a small business advisor since almost 10 years now. And 10 years ago, there weren't really any grants for for-profit businesses. We'd always have people ask about it, but things have really changed in the last 10 years, that there really are more things available right now for small business. So you can check out grants. There are sites like I Fund Women. They list all kinds of different grants for women. So know that those are out there, but you can't guarantee that you're going to get them. We're seeing more and more people now getting, especially startups, doing pitch competitions. And I've seen some, anything from $100 to $10,000 to $25,000. So get your pitch together and start pitching your business. If you're asking for funding, this is where you're going to want to outline your funding requirements. So your goal is to clearly explain how much funding you're going to need over the next 5 years and how you're going to use it. So always know that number ahead of time. Again, as you do a business plan, you're going to realize how much money that you really need. You don't want to ask for so much money over what you're really going to need. What's nice is many times you can just fund your own growth. So as you're looking for funding, though, you want to specify whether you want debt or equity financing, the terms you'd like applied, and the length of time your request will go over. You want to give a detailed description of how you're going to use your funds. Specify if you need funds to buy equipment or materials, pay salaries, or cover specific bills until revenue increases. Always include a description of your future strategic financial plans like paying off debt or selling your business. So these are all things that you want to think about when you're going to be doing a funding request. Personal cash or an equity injection. Every lender or people that are going to give you money want to know you're putting some of your own money in the business as well. If you don't believe in it to put money in it, why should they? I have seen some people that want to fund totally on grants or other things, and that's not always a reasonable solution, because that may not happen. And again, lenders, other people giving you money, want to see that you have skin in the game. Some financing that you're getting, they're going to want to know the loan, the purpose, and terms. Most banks want the owner to put in at least 20 to 40% of the total request. So know that before you're going, and that you can determine how much you have to put in. There are some things like small SBA loans. They are guaranteed loans. The SBA doesn't give you that, but they guarantee many times up to half of the loan. So lenders like that because they're not totally on the hook if something happens to your business. Sometimes that 20 to 40% can come out of equity, or if you have a building or some land, sometimes you can put that up as your percentage. It isn't always money that you have to put in. So financing your business, again, it can be really hard because they're really leery about startups. Again, 2 years is like a magic number, and it seems many are more likely to give you a loan then, because you have come past the time that many small businesses fail. So borrowing money, of course, is one of the most common sources of funding for a business, but the loan isn't always easy. Again, you're going to want to look at different types of financing, your ability to repay, because you have to put that, you can put that in your business plan, in your financials, how you're going to repay that loan. Credit history, equity investment, collateral. Again, this could be, are you putting some land up, or are there other things that you're putting up for the business? And management experience. They really want to know, are you experienced in the industry that you're going in? If you've been in it for a while, that goes a long way with lenders. And then your lenders will ask, make sure you know all of those ahead of time, the types of things that they would be asking you, and that you have an answer. You want to be prepared and know your numbers if you're going in and looking for financing. Ability to repay is so important. The ability or capacity to repay the funds you receive from a lender must be justified in your loan package. Banks want to see two sources of repayment: cash flow from the business, as well as a secondary source such as collateral. Many of you have a full-time job as you're starting this part-time job, or as you're starting your business. And really, that's a great time to start getting your numbers together. You have money to spend on these things now. Many times, and I heard this with SBA loans, many times they don't get funded is because people are quitting a job and they do not have the ability to repay for the amount of loan that they want for the business. So always think about this as well. Banks are more comfortable offering assistance to businesses that have been in existence for a number of years and a proven track record. So again, but just try to put everything together as well as you can to look good for a banker or whoever you may be borrowing from. There are different types of financing. There's equity financing or equity capital. It's money raised by a company in exchange for a share of ownership in the business. So if you watch Shark Tank, the sharks are taking a part of their business. They're taking equity in their business. Most small or growth stage businesses use limited equity financing. Equity often comes from investors such as friends or relatives. We want to help you, so we'll give you some money to put in this business, and maybe I want, 1%, or some of them don't even want that back. They just want a guarantee that their money's going to be paid back at some point. The most common source of equity funding comes from venture capitalists, and there have been studies that said that only 3% of women get any of the venture funds that are out there. So it may not be the best route to go for financing. Debt financing, and this is what I'm sure we are all very familiar with. Debt financing means borrowing money that must be repaid or over a period of time, usually with interest. And debt financing can either be short-term with full repayment due in less than a year, or it can be long-term with repayment due over a period greater than 1 year. The lender does not gain ownership in your business, and debt obligations are limited to repaying the loan with interest. So the loans are often secured by some of the assets of the company. In addition, lenders commonly require the borrower's personal guarantee in case of default. This ensures that the borrower has a sufficient personal interest at stake in the business. Commercial loans. Well, loans can be obtained from so many different sources out there. Banks, savings and loans, credit unions, commercial finance companies, SBA guaranteed loan. State and local governments have many programs that encourage the growth of small business. Again, family members, friends, former associates are all potential sources, especially when capital requirements are smaller. Traditionally, banks have been the major source of small business funding. And their principal role of banks include short-term loans, seasonal lines of credit, and single-purpose loans for machinery and equipment. And banks generally have been reluctant to offer long-term loans to small firms. SBA's guaranteed lending programs encourage banks and non-bank lenders to make long-term loans to small firms by reducing their risk. Again, they're guaranteeing SBA up to 50% of the loan. There are different things that you can do though too. There are non-lender types of financing if you can't find any money anywhere else. Some consider a great credit history, no blemishes, a score of 680 plus up. There can be credit card financing, 8 to 10%. There's a lot higher on some of that for credit card financing. Invoice financing, that's what they call factoring, that you show them your invoice, they collect them and take some money out. Because sometimes with invoices, when you start a business, people may not pay you for 30 or 60 or 90 days, and you need that money right now. So that's where these could come in handy for a short period of time. There's collateral-based loan or cash injections, commercial or residential real estate, cars, equipment. Some people have even financed, use their 401k or retirement accounts to fund a business. I don't like the idea of that, but it is an option that people have done to finance a business. Crowdfunding. A lot of people ask us about crowdfunding, and it's the use of small amount of capital from a large number of people to finance a business venture. So crowdfunding may be used for loans, donations. Many times they have rewards with those, sales or equity. You decide what's going to be a part of it. It works best if you have a great network of supporting people in your community who are going to want to support you or send money your way. Crowdfunding has the potential to increase entrepreneurship by expanding your pool of investor from whom funds can be raised beyond the traditional sources of funding. I've known some people that have done really well in crowdfunding. These are some of the most popular ones here. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Rocket Hub, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of GoFundMe. That's typically used more for donations, CrowdRise, but there's some for different types of businesses as well. So anytime you're looking for money, there's lots of different places that you can be looking to fund that. So that was kind of a quick overview on business plans, funding your business. As you're working on your business plan as well, have somebody who doesn't know who your business plan is, read it. So often you know your business, and as you're writing it, you put jargon in there from your industry. Other people are not going to know that. So give it to a friend or somebody else to look over and see if they have any questions. Ideally, give it to someone who has no idea what your business or your business idea is. And, you know, even as we were going through the applications for these grants, many times people could not clearly describe their business. And as we're reading through, you know, it's hard to fund someone if you don't really know what the business is and what it's doing. So follow all those tips, and it should make things easier for you as you're going forward with your business plan. Okay, are there any questions on any of that? I know it's a lot of information.
So I know that the session is recorded, but like the lean business plan, like the module that you shared, will you be sharing this deck afterwards, or is there a way that I could like download it or something like that?
We will be sharing this, yes, but that is through LivePlan. And if you want a LivePlan account, you can send us an email at cwe@twu.com. I'm putting that in the chat box. So you can put that information in there. So you can email us and we'll set up an account for you in there. What's nice in there, they have a section before everything that tells you what goes in there. There's a little video. They make it so easy. Then you go into the section and they give you 2 examples from 2 different types of companies. The number one thing that people do is overthink this. I've done it. We all do it. It's got to be perfect. But as you look at those examples, you realize, oh, this is really pretty easy. It's not that difficult. We don't want a ton of information. We just want you to write what your business plan, you know, business is all about. The other thing that is in there is a sample business plan library. I love that, because sometimes you can go in and look at a business that's similar to yours, or maybe there's a business model that is similar to yours. So you can go in and get ideas. How did they do this? How did they, you know, there's no reason to reinvent everything out there. Again, and as we heard from the library, it's a great resource there to do research on your target market or the demographics of your clients or the people that you're going to want to be reaching. So again, just reach out and we're happy to set you up with an account in LivePlan. Okay.
I have another question, sorry.
Yes.
Going back to the 3 hours that you need to accrue. So if you wanted to utilize TWU for this, how do you go about setting that up?
Okay, you can also, we'll send the link for small business advising with that. We don't have a full-time person in our office right now. We do have 2 other advisors that we are working with at the moment. But again, you can use small business development centers. You can use SB small SCORE if you have a mentor that you've been working with, someone that will do that. But as we set this out, we will send a link with that as well, where you can register for small business advising.
I have a question about the business plan. So I know you indicated how with the business plan, you are putting your projected or what you think, how much money you think you'll need. So if we've been in business for a little bit now, we've already did a business plan and we did get like some sort of funding in that, and we know now what the numbers are. Do you want us to use the original numbers that we had before we started purchasing things, or do you want us to use what the actual numbers came out to be after we purchased everything to start up?
If you have real numbers, we'd rather see that, but we'd like it to go through. So I'm not sure which business is yours, so what you are purchasing with it, but as you project out, if you already have like 3 years or several years in there, project out at least 1 year so we can see how the grant is going to affect your business. I know with many of these people, you know, if it's an advertising program or a piece of equipment, that can really change the way your business is, or if you are buying a lot of inventory. So put in real numbers and then you can build a year out from that. If you have 0 numbers, you'll want to do 3-year projections.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions? There's been a lot of information tonight. Are y'all okay?
That's a lot of information.
Yeah, I know. It could be like overload.
Do you mind? Oops. Do you mind putting a link for the Gale resource in the chat?
That was way back from that was from the library.
Yes.
So I am not sure if I have that. We can get that for you. We could send it when we send this out. I'll make a note of that resource.
Thank you.
I have it written down as Gale Business Demographics. And so you should be able to check with the library about that. Stephanie, are you live right now? Compton?
Yes. And so,
thank you.
Yeah, the way that you'll be able to find it is most database list A to Z is going to list it as Gale Business Demographics. So, or Gale Demographics. So you'll be able to find it. And anytime that you were to call or ask or send an email for help from the library, they'd be happy to send you that link.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Stephanie Compton is the business librarian at TWU. So anyone that is on campus, she is an excellent resource as well. Stephanie, can people that aren't students come to you?
Yes, I'm always happy to help people no matter what, and I can get them to whoever they need to get to.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, because I know that there were a lot of people from around the state, and so those libraries weren't covered, but I do know that all of those libraries are going to have similar resources, and all of them in the major cities are going to have a business librarian at the public library level.
So again, that's something you can check with your local library, wherever you are, to see what type of resources. Thank you, Stephanie. You're always a wealth of information as well. So Michelle Holloway was asking Stephanie, alumni, yay. So she's still open to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. Are there any more questions before? Oh, I did see one in here. All of these sessions are going to be virtual because our grant winners are across the state. Next week is Insurance 101. And really, we get so many people that are just blown away by all the different types of insurance that they never thought about before. So it's really a great one to attend because you really want to make sure you're safe and covered in your business. The 22nd is business entities. We're going to have a lawyer speaking on that one. Then on the 29th, learn to love the numbers. I know numbers are not a favorite, but darn it, as a business owner, we've got to know those. And then December 6th will be the last night in this series, and that's brand beyond logos and PR. So a lot of great information coming up. Okay, no more questions. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a great evening. Anything else you need, always reach out to us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Michelle?
Appreciate it.
Oh, you bet. Michelle, I see your comment in there. This was a long day.
Thank you.
All right. Good night. So nice to see everybody.
Good night.